Welcome back. I've got the new Nitecore TINI or TINI 2, depending on how it's pronounced. I was never quite sure. So this has come in from the company. We're going to take a look, unbox it, and I'm going to compare it to the previous version and a few other of the keychain lights that I've got, or keyring lights, call them what you want. They don't have the spec on the box, so I'm going to put that on screen for you now so you can see we've got an increase in the turbo level compared to the previous version. Here's the user guide and your warranty card. I'll put the guide on screen later on, and there's also a clasp that they've included, and that's it. Nothing else in the package at all. We move on to the torch itself. You can see there is a protective wrap on the front of the OLED display. I'll just give you a few more close-up shots. They have improved the build. The case material does feel a bit thicker, and they've also changed to the Type-C charging port, so that's a good thing to see. The original version had the micro USB. Makes sense to update that, much more common connector, and it's much more robust as well. There's a few other things they have changed. For example, this attachment point on the bottom, that is quoted to 30 kilograms. It just feels more solid compared to the original, which was a normal ring that went through the body. Got two OSRAM P8 LEDs. Those are the same as the ones that are in the Tiki. We'll just have a quick look at the OLED display. That's the biggest change versus the previous version, and it tells you the level that it's set to last, the voltage, and which mode that you're in. When you power it up, it's also going to give you a runtime indication depending on which power level you're on. Remember, that's an estimation, but it's useful to have that information so you can get a rough idea of how long a particular power level is going to last. I wouldn't say it's an essential addition. It's something that's nice to have. There are some drawbacks to having this, which I'll get onto a bit later on, just in my own personal opinion. But I do like it. It is nice. It's been on a few other Nitecores, such as the TUP. You'll notice that the plastic sort of goes to a sort of yellowy colour when you've got it turned on. We'll cover the user interface now. So it's a single press on and off. You have your memory setting for the last power level. When it's already powered on, you have your choice to cycle through the 4 power levels by using the top button. If you want to get to the turbo mode, you can only do this by pressing the top button. It's not in the normal setting, so you just hold that in and it stays on as long as you hold it in. If you want to go to the lowest output, push and hold the power button when you're turning it on. That takes you to your moonlight mode. I'll just cover the lockout functionality now. You have 2 lockouts on this. The half lock is the lockout 1. You can see it cycles between the 2 when you are pushing in the power button. And the full lockout, that locks both of the buttons out. So the half lock gives you access to the turbo. The full lock, neither of the buttons will work. I'm glad that they did give you a full lock on this, because sometimes you could activate that turbo by accident if something jammed into the top button. The other option you have is the demo or daily modes. The demo mode, that will switch off after 30 seconds. If you do press again, within about 3 seconds, it will temporarily switch to the daily mode. When your battery level is low, you'll see the switches. They will start to flash every second or so. If you have the display on, that will also indicate low battery on the OLED display. In case I missed anything, I have put the instruction guide on screen for you. You can also download that from the Nitecore website. I did do some additional tests on this just to see what the battery capacity was, and that came in around about the spec, and also the charging time was a bit faster at around an hour and a half. Here's a quick side-by-side with the original. On the left, you can see it is marked up. It's been put on a keyring for a few years now. It's still working, but I can see some obvious changes with the design. Apart from the fact they've gone from 1 to 2 LEDs, they have definitely improved the build. Case material is thicker. Saying that, the Fenix, which I'm showing you now on screen, did a review on that. That has the best build out of all of these mini LED lights that I've looked at. Size comparison to the Tiki now, did a review on this. This is the glow-in-the-dark version. I'll look again at this particular one when I get the JetBeam Mini One plastic. Hopefully that will come in at some point. Just a quick picture that I took to give you a comparison with the other keyring lights that I've got. So we'll start off with the original version, 380 lumens, which is still a pretty decent output for such a small mini torch. The newer version, 500 lumens, and that's got an increased range. They're quoting up to around 89 meters. You'll note that the tin is a bit warmer with that OSRAM LED, and it's the same situation with the Tiki, not as much output, With the Fenix, that has less power output, less range, it's more of a spread out beam on that, cooler tint. And finally onto the JetBeam Mini One, 500 lumens, similar sort of output, but it's got a bit more focus in the middle. One thing I did notice is the yellow tint. You can see that around the edges. It is a warmer emitter on this, but it does have quite a big shift on the edges, and you will see that in some of the beam shots. So I'll carry on with some more beam shots now, and then I'll give you a summary at the end of the video. Just a quick note on the runtime test, it did hold the power level quite well. It was quite cold that night and windy, so you may not get the same performance in warmer weather, but that was better than I expected. I do think Nitecore have made some good improvements compared to the original model. They've definitely improved the build quality, moving to the Type-C port, adding the extra lockout mode, and we've got an extra power level in there too. Those are all worthwhile additions, and I think it makes it a better product overall. The most obvious downside, I think, is that the price has gone up quite a bit. Whether or not you'd be happy to pay that, I don't know. Do leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the price. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to stick around. More videos are coming up very soon, and I'll catch up with you then.